Hey everybody, Paul here with Road Trip Transport. How's everyone doing? It's been a while. So, we're going to chat today about two main things. Kind of do a shorter video, just get everybody caught up. One, little brief catch up on what we're doing as a company, how we're doing, what kind of our plans are, some changes we made. And two, why hotshotting, quote, is dead. And I put quotes because there are two separate hotshot meanings now. And this has really happened in the past 2 years. I have been encountering this over and over and over again. Strictly speaking, more so in the past, probably since coronavirus. Now I've really been experiencing it. So, first things first, let's get you caught up on the company. As you can see, I'm driving a big rig. We got a 2020 Mack Anthem with a 53-foot step deck. And I'm telling you guys right now, we'll get into the details why. If you are an owner-operator of a hotshot and you want to drive truck and you're partialing or whatever, buy a big rig. End of story. Just do it. There's no reason not to. If you can't afford it or you can't get financing, you probably are not going to be doing super well in hotshot. That's going to be the case most of the time, and I have data to back that up. I've said it plenty of times. 80% of hotshotters are out of business in their first year, so there's data to back that up. Get a big rig. I think they're definitely more comfortable to live in. You got a bed, you got a microwave, you got a fridge, you got tons of room. You can stand up, you can change. It's great. Get a big rig and get a trailer. If you're partialing, and I've said this tons and tons and tons of times. If you're good at partialing, hotshots aren't partial trucks. I don't understand. Well, I do understand what happened. You had a bunch of people taking cheap freight. They were dying, so they started stacking cheap freight. Hotshotters should not be partialing. Yeah, on the rare occasion. I'm saying your primary type of hauling should not be partialing. If you're partialing on hotshot, buy a freaking big rig. You can double your partials. Like, if you're good at partialing on a hotshot, you would be just astronomically good in a big rig. You have 53 feet of deck space with capability to handle about 45,000 pounds. You can double your partials. Like, it does not make sense to be partialing on a hotshot. They never were partial trucks. Like, I really think that's the stupidest thing to be. Like I said, there are people that are good at partialing on hotshots. But if you are, get a big rig, you'll be twice as good. It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, sorry, getting a little ranty there. So let's calm down here and talk about where we're at. So we bought a big rig, and we still have our two hotshots. Now, the main reason we bought the big rig was with this coronavirus stuff, Enterprise did not have any trucks available, and we needed a third truck. And I'm not going to buy a pickup. Like, I don't think these things last long enough to buy one. It's not worth it. So we decided to buy a big rig. And I've got a full-time driver. I'm in it right now, and I'll tell you a quick little story. Just kind of outlines the advantages of the big rig. I just hauled a quick load, 200-something miles from Alabama to Mississippi for a customer. One transformer, really 10,000 pounds, nothing. Well, I get to where I'm delivering. It's a wood products company, a lumber company. And I walk into the office and said, "Hey guys, I'm delivering this to you guys, but I'm empty on the way back. You guys have anything in Alabama?" She goes, "Hold on a second." She said, "I think, is that Boaz?" She yells out the door, "Is that Boaz load available?" "Yeah, okay. Yeah, we got something for you." Boom, another $1,100, go another 250 miles. Fantastic. Like, you couldn't do that with a hotshot. Finding freight for a big rig is so much easier than finding freight for a hotshot. Now, I knew that getting into it, but the one pro of having a hotshot rig is you can net more money if you're smart, because the cost of the truck is less. 21 cents a mile for is what my rental cost is for the Enterprise truck. Factoring maintenance, depreciation, the purchase price, interest, all that on the big rig, that's about 35 to 40 cents a mile. So you're about double. So if you can get your costs down on the hotshot, but you're grossing the same amount as you would in a big rig, which we're doing. I can show you. We've got one of my hotshots is actually doing slightly better than the big rig. but it's about 10 times harder to do it. That's the big thing. So that truck is netting me an extra 19 cents a mile because it costs me less to run. But it's so hard to run and it's getting worse. So let me explain to you guys why I think this is happening. In the past 2 years, this industry has been flooded by hotshotters. And this is where I quoted it at the beginning. There are two types of hotshotters. There are hotshotters that, like my neighbor, that basically are on call all the time, and he has customers, and they call him and they say, hey, I'm going to pay you $4 a mile. I need this pump picked up and taken, 300 miles, whatever. I need it there ASAP. That's hotshotting. If you're on load boards, that's the second type of hotshotting, which is what the industry now considers hotshots. That is what and I say industry, the trucking brokerage industry. That's what they think hotshots are now, and it's so perpetuated that now they know hotshot means cheap freight. So if you're on a load board fighting for hotshots, I never had this happen 2 years ago. Now it's a regular occurrence where I will call on a load that is paying $3 a mile, whatever, and I will go to book it, and he will ask what equipment I have. I tell him it's a 40-foot air ride. It's 30 foot, 10,000 pounds, and he'll say, "Oh, you're a hotshot? Yeah, that rate is $1.40 a mile." I said, "What, for the same thing?" "Yeah." Yes. People are gonna say, "Well, that's stupid." Yes, I agree, it is stupid, but they're doing it. Why? Because somebody's taking this stuff. A big rig, they will literally pay. It just happened in Montana. We had a load going to Texas. The guy goes, "Man, I wish you had a big rig. I could pay $3,200 on it." And I was like, "Well, it's the same thing, right?" "Well, yeah." "Well, I can't pay over $2,000 for a hotshot." "What?" He's like, "That's just our company policy. We do not pay a big rig rate for a hotshot truck." This is frequent. And what this means is that a ton of people have gotten in this industry that don't have a clue what they are doing and are driving these costs down through the floor, driving these rates down through the floor. So that being said, we're looking at migrating out of hotshot. Now we'll still have a couple rigs, mainly for our direct customers doing actual hotshot work, but on the long haul, it's not making sense. It's getting harder and harder and harder to find that freight. Like I said, the one advantage of running a hotshot, in my opinion, is that you can net a little bit more money as long as you're grossing the same as a big rig. And we're doing that, but it's getting harder and harder and harder to do because there's too many idiots coming into this thinking that they're going to make $1 million and they're driving the rates down. So that is why I say there are two types of hotshotters. Okay, there are the original, meaning of hotshot, and then there's the now broker version, which is they're going to haul this stuff cheaper, and I can pocket more money than a big rig. I've hauled stuff that's 10,000 pounds on my big rig, and they pay me a full truckload rate, and they used to, and they still do. We still have certain brokers and stuff. We built up enough of a relationship of a network of brokers that they're going to pay us a big truck rate for the small truck. But if you remove that one pro, then buy a big rig. If you remove the one advantage of netting more money, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Get a big rig; it's so much more comfortable, and it's just way easier. People will balk at the price or whatever like that, but it's in the long run, it's going to cost you about 19 cents a mile more than what your pickup is. But if you get into a big rig and you're grossing on average 19 cents or more better than you were in your hotshot, then you're making as much or more than you were in the hotshot. You just don't. It just seems more overwhelming because the equipment is more expensive. But anyway, guys, that's my spiel for the day. I'm back. I'm still here. I'm planning on doing some more videos, and maybe I'll do a quick walk around when I get stopped to unload today and show you guys the Mac. So we'll talk to y'all later. See ya.